Welcome to Scorpio Soul Time. I'm Ronique, and I appreciate you joining me here on my YouTube channel. Every lunation cycle, which happens about every 2 weeks, we get together here and we discuss what is going on in the heavens, in the universe, and as they say, as above, so below, meaning like whatever the aspects and transits that are going on between the planets are directly affecting us here on Earth. So I appreciate you joining me here. I have a few little things to say at the beginning today. This is a really important cycle that we're going to go through with this eclipse season. So I want to stress that you look back in Scorpio Soul Time's playlist. I actually have an eclipse playlist that will help you be able to understand what the energies were moving into this cycle, because every 6 months we usually go through eclipse season, and so we are definitely in the thick of it with this Sagittarius full moon total lunar eclipse on May 26th. So it's really important that I think each of us go back and reacquaint ourselves with how we got here in this lunation cycle, as well as these big cycles that we're working through. Just know that when we pull the cards today and we kind of talk about the astrology, just know that like this is a culmination energy, because a full moon is when the sun is sitting across the sky from the moon. So we have the sun up here in Gemini, and we have the moon down here in Sagittarius, and that energy is actually happening at, let me get my numbers up here so I'm looking at the right information. So this is actually happening at 5 degrees and 25 minutes of Gemini, and the moon is sitting at Sagittarius of 5 degrees and 25 minutes. So anytime we have a full moon, this is definitely when there's going to be culminations of energy. And since you can see here, the North Node is sitting here also in Gemini. This is what is causing the full moon total eclipse. So we literally have this lineup of Gemini energy up here with the sun. Also Mercury and Venus is also up here in Gemini. So this is going to be a really potent energy that I think a lot of us are going to really feel, because if you think back to, I'm going to make you kind of have to jog your memory back to actually last December, we had that new moon eclipse in Sagittarius. And so I want you to look back, like I said at the beginning of this video, look back at that video to find out what energies have did you maybe plant seeds then, and now you're starting to see the culmination or things ending, or you've gotten more illumination, because Sagittarius is all about our philosophy and how we think about things, and kind of like dogma, like what is it that makes us believe what we believe. And I think a lot of us are going to have different vibrational energies towards that, meaning like the higher vibrational energy of Sagittarius is that, like, you know, what are our ways that we come together and believe certain things. It's around religion, it's around travel, it's around expanding our minds to like go further. But the lower vibrational energy of Sagittarius can also be very self-righteous. Like we can get to this almost like, I call it preachy attitude, where it's kind of like, what I believe should be what you believe, and like if you don't believe the same thing that I believe, then you're wrong. And so I think we can see a lot of this playing out right now in our political world, as well as, you know, anything around kind of like the pandemic and the mask wearing and the vaccines. Like there definitely is something in our energy right now in this whole eclipse cycle of this Gemini. Remember, we're on the Gemini Sagittarius eclipse axis. So there definitely is this yin and yang between like the Gemini wanting to like get out, explore, that mental energy. But then there's that Sagittarian energy where it's like Sagittarius likes to go far places, while Gemini is like more at home and local and staying with your community. So I think that you're going to start seeing more energy around these themes as we go through this solar eclipse. Now, lunar eclipse, sorry, total lunar eclipse. The actual solar eclipse occurs on June 10th this year. So the other thing I want to point out is Jupiter is actually making a T-square over here in Pisces. Remember, Jupiter just entered Pisces last week. So it's making this T-square to the sun and the moon. And so this is going to be a really interesting energy as well, because Jupiter is at 1 degree and 11 minutes of Pisces, which I think is really interesting because that's already like a angelic number, 111. It's like a portal number. So it's like this energy is going to be interesting as we see Jupiter kind of like making this T-square, and it'll be interesting to see how this Piscean energy plays out with the Sagittarius and the Gemini energy, because I think as we move into the summertime, I think we're going to really experience a lot more energy around what do we kind of like hold true for ourselves, but then what are the things like we are trying to kind of work through. And I think if we can all look back to that December eclipse, it was really interesting to see how far we've come in those 6 months, right? It's kind of like the mutable energy of like the moon, the south node, Jupiter and Pisces, and then those 3 planets in Gemini, the 3 planets of the sun, Mercury, and Venus are really like asking us to like look at what our belief system is, how it might differ from our community, how it might differ from the people you associate with, people you go to church with, people you share common belief systems with. I think we all have realized since that December, so much more information has come out around all different parts of our world, not just religion, not just politics, but just like how we all view the world and our philosophies about even travel. Look how much travel has changed from, basically we couldn't do anything in 2020 to now everywhere is recording like these record bookings of like Airbnb, and the local travel agencies are like finding like a lot more people are renting cars, people are going camping. Like, this summer is going to be really interesting to see like how travel has changed, because before the pandemic, we were all kind of like wanting to whisk away to, a foreign country or just like go on these long trips. And now with this, especially with that Gemini North node, we're really going to see more information around like people wanting to stay local, or at least maybe doing like one tank trips. Maybe this summer you're taking more time to explore your city because maybe you don't want to travel. So I think that this total solar eclipse, I keep saying solar eclipse, so it must be the solar eclipse is going to probably be pretty powerful too, but this total full moon lunar eclipse in Sag on the 26th is going to be really interesting around the Sagittarian themes. And I pulled this Temperance card, which is number 14, and that is the total, that's a major arcana in the Rider-Waite deck. And it's interesting because usually the Temperance card is like this angelic figure who has like, they're kind of like tempering the water, and they're like trying to strike a balance, if you will. And so I really like this depiction of almost this angelic figure with the fire energy, and then this rainbow, and striking the balance between the air energy. Because, and I look at this as air, but maybe people may look at it as water, but I think that this is actually air energy. And I think that this is like that strong dichotomy between Sagittarius is like a fire sign and then Gemini is an air sign. So to me, it's kind of like she's balancing, and we're having to temper the energy between our, you know, exploratory selves and how we all want to like think higher minded and explore and like see the world type mindset versus our Gemini energy, which is more local, grassroots. You know, how are we communicating with people? And I think at this time, I really want you all to focus on the Gemini part of, you know, this is a Sagittarian total lunar eclipse, but it's also has all that energy with the sun in Gemini as well as Venus and Mercury. So there is going to be this almost like this tug of war, I feel like, between like trying to communicate with people, because Mercury does go retrograde on May 29th. So we've already been in shadow since the 13th of May. So this is going to be this time where it's like there's a lot of information and energy coming out, but at the same time there's like almost like too many cooks in the kitchen, I like to say, when it's like too many people giving their opinion. You're not able to feel like you're being heard, or maybe you're not listening to other people. That's going to be very strong during this time. And I'm also realizing that there is also this kind of like big changes that we're going to feel, because this is like letting go of something. Remember, like full moons are like a culmination and ending. Information is now revealed. But since we are going to be in a Gemini Mercury led eclipse, I'm getting all my, see, this is also how you know when Mercury is retrograde, because sometimes you like either speak really fast or you don't speak clearly. And so it's kind of like your mind is kind of jumbled up, which I think is really interesting as I'm recording this, because my Saturn is actually in Gemini. And so what I've noticed is that when I get into Gemini season, I have like a lot of thoughts that I'm trying to like spit out quickly, or my thoughts come like slower and they're like jumbled. So, I mean, that's a really good example of what we're gonna feel in this whole mercurial season during this Gemini time, because there's literally like this Sagittarian energy of like wanting to explore and wanting to like get up and get stuff going, but the Gemini Mercury retrograde is going to be like, oh, I'm not going to give you all the information right now, or you're going to have to slow down because I'm not really ready to give you all the information yet. You might have to wait till July when Mercury speeds back up and is back into its flow again. So lots of information here at this full moon total lunar eclipse. So one thing I thought was really interesting is last time I did my video, I had my small Tibetan bowl, singing bowl, and I could not hear it at all when I like went back and listened to the video. So I got this really nice singing bowl, and I'm going to bring back the camera a little so you can see it a little better. But I want to be able to have you experience the energies that I feel. And so I think if I can use a higher quality singing bowl and a crystal singing bowl as opposed to metal, it'll be able to come out on the video. So I wanted to make sure that I did this, especially for this total lunar eclipse, because we definitely need like all the energies with us. So let's as I ring the singing bowl, please think about what it is in your life that you need more clarity on. What do you need to have information on? What needs to come or be eclipsed out of your life? And I think this will really help you breathe in and breathe out to clear your energies before we do the tarot cards. Okay, very nice. Okay, so I know for sure that you all could hear that one, right? Okay, so thanks for being patient with me. I just think that's really important to be able to clear your energy and to clear mine as we pull some tarot cards. So we're going to do a past, present, and future spread. Today I am using a few decks we've used in the past. If you're new to my channel, I usually try to use a few different ones. This one is actually the Tarot of Dreams tarot deck. It is actually by Ciro Marchetti. This is actually the cover. That was the little guidebook that I just sent you or showed you. So we're going to use that just to pull past, present, and future. And I want you to think through, what is it in your life that you need clarity on? What is it that you would like to figure out needs to be eclipsed out of your life at this full moon total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius? If there's areas of your life that you want to expand, if you've been thinking about anything around beliefs, or you've been struggling with something around beliefs, and this could be beliefs around yourself, around philosophies, around something dealing with your work, people you interact with on an everyday basis. This really is like that energy of how can you get rid of what is no longer needed. All right. Cut the deck 3 times and see what the energies are showing us. So for the past, we have the 9 of Wands, which makes a lot of sense because this is that Sagittarian energy. You can actually see the Sagittarius glyph here and the moon. So that's really right on par with our full moon total lunar eclipse in Sag. Then in the present, we have the 4 of Wands in reverse. So more Sagittarian energy. And that could actually be Aries energy too. I see the Aries up here, so another fire sign. So 4 of Wands, all fire so far. And then in the future, we actually have the World in reverse. Very, very potent time. Anytime you get the World, whether it is reverse or right side up, very potent energy because it means you are ending or beginning a cycle. So let's talk about the 9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is this, usually this person who is like bandaged up and they have just like been through it. Like they look like they have just like been through a war. They're tired. They're looking back over their shoulder. They have these wands, like they're just like, oh, I'm just trying to make it to the end. You can see this gentleman here. He literally is like, he has his helmet from whatever battle he just came out of. He just came down these stairs. He's taking a rest. You see the sun in the background and the faint moon up here. And so this to me symbolizes like you've been through a lot. And I think that we mentioned this in the few videos that we had before this, the lunation cycles, where we have literally like come through a lot in these like last 18 months. And I think that Sagittarian fire energy is literally like telling you like it's okay to like rest and like look back and figure out where is it that you've come. Fire has to do with passion, energy, any type of goals that you've been trying to accomplish. And since this is in the past, to me, it's really symbolizing like you've almost made it. You're almost there. Like, don't give up. It's okay to take a little rest, but like keep trudging forward until you get to that 10 of Wands where you literally can get ready to begin again. And so I really think that this is a positive sign, especially coming into this Sagittarius lunar eclipse. I think it's really showing you that in the past, yes, you've done a lot. Yes, you've accomplished so much, but you still have a little more to go. And I think that especially with this helmet, to me, it's almost symbolizing like the battle is like over. You don't have to keep trying so hard. You don't have to keep And I think that's really good coming into this total lunar eclipse, where you're supposed to be letting go. You're supposed to be like looking back and saying, okay, what did I learn? What do I need to eclipse out? I think this is like that right on track energy. And especially with that Sag and Moon there, I'm like right on target. So the Four of Wands is usually a very happy card. It's usually like in the Rider-Waite deck. It's kind of like this man and woman are holding up their hands. Some people call it the marriage card. I also look at it as a gateway or a portal, because the four, you can see these four wands. You can see this doorway opening up. And I think it's interesting because remember I said at the beginning of this video that Jupiter is making that T-square at 1 degree and 11 minutes of Pisces, and it's squaring this total eclipse. So I think that that's really cool, because it's almost like that 111 is almost being to me, I can see it almost like a gateway or a portal is opening up. But with it being in reverse, it's almost like we have to step into this gateway. Like it's not just going to open up for us. And it's almost like this energy of, since we are coming to this culmination point with this total lunar eclipse, there's going to be this point where the gates were closed, and before they open, it's almost like you in your own heart, mind, whatever, have to figure out what is it that you need to let go of to step into or to open up these gates. And I feel like the Four of Wands is like a really positive energy, but it's that energy like celebratory. But if it's in reverse, it's almost like, well, the celebration isn't going to start until you like step into it. It's almost either you need to let go of something, you need to accept maybe a new way of thinking. Like I said, with that Sagittarian energy, there definitely is this fire energy of like, is there something you're ready to begin, let go of, so you can open up these doors? Really positive in the present. And then in the future, it is reversed, but in the upright position, the World card literally is the last card of the major arcana. It's the 21 card. And I love this depiction because it shows you how all the elements are like working in divine harmony to get you to say, okay, I'm officially done with this cycle, let's start anew. And I think with it in reverse though, it still is kind of like telling you, where is it in your life that you're ready to, it's kind of like mimicking to me that Four of Wands with the door. Where are you ready to like move on from whatever it is that's been holding you back? What is it that you need to like finish to be able to say like, I am officially done? And so with it in reverse, it's almost like the cycle isn't quite over, and maybe this total lunar eclipse is helping you realize either maybe it needs to be over and you need to like move on from whatever it was in the past. Maybe you need to move on from this battle and stop worrying about it and stop focusing on it so that you can move on. So I'm going to pull some clarifier cards because I'm really curious to see what because it's interesting how we got the two fire cards, like the Nine of Wands and the Four of Wands, and then we got that World in reverse and the Four of Wands in reverse. So there's some kind of hesitancy. There's some type of area where you're still trying to either figure something out, you can't let go. And you know, I think I heard another intuitive say, the thing about eclipses is you can either graciously step into letting go, or the universe will take it from you and let you know that it's time to let go. So I think that's kind of like what I'm feeling with that World card. It's like, if you don't get your own stuff together, if you don't come to the realization on your own, whether this is your beliefs, whether it is something you've been holding on to tightly, something is ready to be eclipsed out of your life. Ooh, look at that. Nine of Wands. What do we get here? Nine of Wands. So that is right on, right on point. Thank you, spirits. So, I mean, the universe is literally telling you it's time to let go. Even though you're trying, you might be trying too hard, but it's time to let go, or maybe trying too hard not to let go. That's the other thing. You know, we tend to, us as humans, we tend to hold on to things far longer than their shelf life. All right, let me cut the card. So we already got that one that came out for the 9 of Wands. So I'm just going to do the 4 of Wands clarifier for the present. And we actually have another 4. So 4 of Cups. So you're thinking about something, something's being handed to you, but you're not paying attention. 4 of Cups. And then in the future, the High Priestess. Very good energy. I love it. Okay. And I just heard turn over the bottom. So that makes total sense. 8 of Cups. I love it. So we are moving away, y'all, from stuff that is no longer serving us. We are emotionally spent. We are emotionally done. The 8 of Cups is symbolized by this man almost like slipping away into the night. To me, this is that energy of like, you could be moving houses, you could be moving locations, you could be getting moving away from a emotional draining relationship. You are moving away from kind of like this tired energy that you had back here. So that's a great energy to see. So the 4 of Wands and the 4 of Cups clarifier, you can see this man sitting underneath of a tree, and like it's almost like the universe or an angel spirit is handing him this cup, and he's either, some people take it as meditating, but I always look at it like you're not, almost like you're closed up to accepting new offers of any type. So either you had some kind of this could also be a relationship, just because that 4 of Wands is sometimes called like the marriage card. So maybe you've had a relationship that didn't go well and you're closed off to accepting any emotional energy or emotional help. This could also be like you were waiting for something to come in, and like I said, you have to step into it and you're still not paying attention to it, or maybe you're just like not emotionally ready. So I want you in this total lunar eclipse cycle in Sag to really like go back and listen to the Sagittarian eclipse new moon that happened in December, because I have a feeling that there's something in that video that might be able to help you realize what it is you either need to move on from, pay attention to, but somewhere you're kind of like closed off between the 4 of Wands being in reverse and then this 4 of Cups. You're not paying attention to something that the universe is either trying to show you, or you aren't accepting that it's time to move through that doorway. And then in the future, the number 2 major arcana High Priestess card is symbolizing your intuition, your need to tap into the energies of what it is that it makes you you, meaning like this World card is basically showing you that you're not done with a cycle, and maybe to get to that point you actually need to embrace your intuition. You might need to connect with nature. You might need to find a way to connect to your higher self. That can be, especially at eclipse times, it's a great time to do like a healthy detox. My husband and I like to do like a juice fast. So we've been doing like a juice fast like over the last 3 days leading up to an eclipse. It's a really good time because it also helps you like purge out the old and like get ready for like new energy, new information. And it's a really great time to really tap into the energies of like what needs to be eclipsed out. And I think that this spread is really straightforward, and I love when they're really straightforward because it's like you can see this progression. You can see from you've had some kind of hard past that Sagittarian energy wants you to move past from. Learn from those lessons, but move on. And I think in this present, it's basically saying you're trying to move on, but either you're not open to it or you're not trying to be open to it. You're very closed-minded. You're very like, you know, arms crossed, like, I don't care, I'm not listening to you type energy. And it's kind of like, if you keep in this cycle, you're not going to get to a next cycle. Does that make sense? Like, you are literally not going to even be able to tap into any intuition if you can't move on from this. And that's literally what this Eight of Cups is saying. Like, move on from the emotional baggage of the past so that you can get to the World card. So you can turn the World card around, end that cycle, and start anew. You can walk through that door, turn the Four of Wands around in a happier light, and be able to use your intuition to really hone in on what it is that makes that next cycle feel so special. You know what I mean? I think right now you're kind of like still holding on to stuff. And that's the thing about full moons, is that it literally is telling you, the universe is saying it is time to eclipse some kind of cycles, negative energy, baggage. You need to let it go, leave it in the past, and move forward. So I'm actually gonna put this Eight of Cups at the future, because this is literally like the progression. Going from your negative self, this could be your negative self, or it could just be you've been through a lot and you need to let it go, leave it back in the war, move forward, be open, don't be so closed-minded, because you have these opportunities here. Like, the universe is trying to pry open that door, right? To get to you moving away from the old and embracing your intuition so that you can attract a lot more abundance. Because remember that Two of the High Priestess, she has all those yummy pomegranates behind her. So that is like fruitful, fruitioning, like abundance, wisdom. Like, you have it. You just have to move past all this stuff in the past. Okay, y'all. Well, I think that this is going to be a really great full moon total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. I invite you to be open with yourself so that you can figure out what you need to eclipse out of your life, so that you can plant new seeds at that new moon eclipse that happens on June 10th in Gemini. So I will see you back there, or I will see you up there, I guess, in the future. I will see you then. I again invite you to look through any of the playlists, especially the eclipse playlist. And I think some of you might even want to go 2 eclipse seasons back. So even if you go all the way back to June of 2020, it's actually June 5th of 2020, we had the new moon eclipse in, let's see, was it new moon or full moon? So this eclipse point of Gemini and Sag, we actually started back in June. So we've almost become a whole year. So I would invite you to actually go all the way back to the June 5th Sagittarius eclipse, the December eclipse in Sag, and now this eclipse in Sag on May 26th. I think you're going to find some really important information that's going to really make this spread make a lot of sense to each of you. Okay, you all. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Scorpio Soul Time. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you here again. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I would love if you would like, comment, and share this video. It's really helping my channel grow, and I will see you all next time on Scorpio Soul Time. Bye.